as I am super excited to hang out with all of you. All of you who never going to show up and be here right now with us. And the rest of you that will be watching us later. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, Shane is coming in already. I love it. Many of you here. Okay. Shane, I just pushed accept, so let me know. I don't remember when I did. Okay, awesome. He's coming.
Hey, there she is.
Wow, I love it. I love it.
How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm actually very excited. I'm very excited to hang out with, again, I started it saying and I saw you popping in, whoever is going to watch it and co-create this with us right now, because obviously that's how we contribute, right, with our energy. Either
Yeah.
it's speaking out loud and being on camera, either it's just holding space for yourself while you observing us. So thank you for everyone being here. And my big invitation right now, Shane, are you okay with? I'm gonna open it up a little bit, and
Yep.
then we'll go into why we're okay. Cool. So right off the bat, as we command, correct? I invite everyone right now to utilize this time and this space, not only to look at this as, hey, there is someone on Instagram live, right? Shane and Roma, whatever. Yet to utilize this time and this half an hour, whatever we're gonna, feel like flowing for, and whatever time we have to go deeper within and listen through your bodies. And whatever today you feel deeply invited um, to do, to be, again, allow this space and this time with us to be that. Maybe there is a little more grace that is needed right now in your reality in this now moment. Maybe a little bit more of letting go or surrendering. Maybe it is a little bit more excitement. So please pick anything you need here. We're all here for you as well for each other. We are everything, right? I can be it all and you can be it all. So whatever is needed, uh, utilize the space, utilize the energy exchange. Either you're rippling out and supporting us to ripple empowerment, or rippling out and surrendering into deeper grace. Love you all. Thank you. Thank you. Again, that's how we're supporting each other and walking each other home. So we have Shane today up here, rippling with me and co-creating with me. And I will share why I was so uh, eager and urgent to ask you to do live. First of all, huge gratitude for every masculine right now that are is surrendering into their allowance to feel, into allowance to ask for support, to express themselves, to be seen, to be heard. Thank you so much, because as your feminine within you is feeling safe with your masculine stepping in and allowing himself to feel, guess what? We're healing as well. And as our feminine within is feeling more safe with you, obviously our masculine is more seen, and so are you. And that's literally how we're rippling. And it was so beautiful. I came to Sean through, I was doing research with Human Garage, my official for quite a while. And obviously Gary doesn't shut up about hydrogen water, correct? And yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna look into it. And it was so fun. Usually Roma would do her own research and not know where to start. Somehow I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go check Shane's page out and reach out to him right away. Like, let him point me to wherever I need to go and whatever I need to see, and to see if I'm aligned, right, with whatever Shane offers. And it was so beautiful as I asked for support and I got it right away, and I got excited about that hydrogen water and felt great to contribute, right, to that ripple. I was like, oh, let me see how otherwise I can support my body, right, this beautiful physical vessel. And that's something that I'm adding to my routines right now. Few days later, weeks later, whatever happened, I don't remember, right? Weeks later, probably, suddenly Shane is reaching out and like, hey, I am moving through some stuff. And I know that I get to move through it. Feels a little uncomfortable. And I said, hey, would you like a call? And he's like, absolutely, would love some support. Again, thank you so much, because that's a 5D conversations. That's us being okay with being vulnerable, being seen. right? And again, as you allow yourself to do so, everyone around you allows themselves to do so. And that's how we continue to co-create that harmony within us, hence harmony without. And the other thing that really stuck out from the conversation that we jumped on, I supported him emotionally, whatever I could have held space, right? And gave my perspective as he supported me structurally, like, hey, Roma, do this and do that. And we shared such a beautiful conversation. And usually in the conversations, I'm used to getting a question, obviously, of my accent, right? Where are you from? Meaning, where are you from here on earth? Shane, at the end of our conversation, says something in between the slide. Sister, what star system are you from? What star system are you resonating with? Wow, again, epic conversations. It blew my mind how not only I see the outside world unfolding and so fast, there's such a quickening with such a beautiful remembering, yet the experiences that I'm having, the conversations that I'm having, a day before our conversation, I had a sister jumping on and sharing right away her Palladian, experience. And then you were jumping on and was like, what's our system? So
Yeah.
yeah, so that like literally cracked my heart even more, like into deeper celebration and joy, and that's what I celebrate today here with you, every one of you out there, allowing your hearts to crack open deeper, and your minds as well, and unfolding, allowing ourselves to unfold into this imaginary miracle, infinite possibility that we are. So Shane, take it anywhere you want to. Obviously, whatever came up for you while I was sharing, whatever you want to add. Let's not forget how, hydrogen, water as well, and we'll take it from there.
I've always got my hydrogen water. Got my hydrogen gas in my nose right now. So I'm actually, a friend of mine shared a very interesting podcast with me, and I think it was actually right up your alley, but it kind of coincides with kind of our conversation and then an experience that I had that I am willing to share with my wife and my son. So my son's 9 months old, and he was having I think he's just a little overtired, and he was having a moment. And we're trying to get him into the bath and get him into his little chair that he sits in so he can sit safely in the bath. And my wife bathes him while I get everything ready for bed and stuff. And he just wasn't having it. And so my wife got in the bath with him, and she took him. He was losing it a bit, but she's like, oh, like, whoa, buddy, you got a lot of big emotions right now. It's okay. It's okay to work through those. And I kind of had this real big epiphany that I get to heal what I need to heal in my inner child with my child. And now, since that, like that, I just, I went into the washroom. I just actually broke down in tears a bit and just said to her, like, I just appreciate you so much for being the mom that she is to my child. And it was just a very beautiful moment. And so, and since then, I've recognized very much that, if you, like the things that I love about my child, I'm starting to now love about myself. And the good thing about it is I love every single bit of my child. And so I'm starting to love every bit of me. It's such a cool and profound experience. And I'm so grateful that I was able to unlock that and continue to kind of build on that as I recognize it and grow more and evolve because that's really what we're here to do. And I kind of to build on what you were saying about when we connected, how we connected about with the hydrogen, and that's what I love so much about what I do is I become friends with and connect with everybody that I work with, and so I get to learn and learn from people all around the world, and so it was. I mean, it makes sense that like it's. I've learned that we often get taught that Earth or is a school and we're here to learn, and while I agree with that, but I reframe it a bit. We are here to learn how to remember, and that's what we are doing when we get into alignment and you end up crossing paths with these people all around the world, like we have, and that's remembering. We're remembering our tribe, why we came here, what we're here to do, and like the amount of people that I see that are waking up to this and remembering this, becoming aware of this. It's happening at such a. You mentioned, I think you said the quickening, and that's something that a word that I've used quite often is it's the awakening happening at a rapid rate,
Yeah.
right? Which is exactly what's happening right now. It's really really cool. I'll send you this podcast that
Yeah.
you should listen
Yeah.
to. It's right up your alley. It's okay. Actually, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it because it's a conversation with he's a pretty big guy on Instagram, but he's having a conversation with an AI bot about our creation, and he talks about or the AI bot talks about the Atlanteans and Tartarians and how a parasite came in and kind of I think it's right up your alley. Just the tough part that I have with it is it's AI, right? So like I think we're programmed to think AI is completely evil. And I think what I'm starting to learn, because okay, let's talk about the Atlanteans, right? Like they had incredible technology. So apparently, so
Correct.
from
Yeah.
what we know. Yeah. But it's I feel like we kind of almost look at technology as completely a bad thing. It's kind of like looking at Western medicine as completely a bad thing because I'm very, very much about proactive, and I don't go to the doctor because I know that there's really easy ways, not easy, but more natural ways of dealing with what you're dealing with. And I'll always take those first. That said, my if I chop my arm off, I'm unfortunately not going to try and apply hydrogen to it. You know what I mean? Like it has its place, right? And so what I kind of like money and currency. I mean that's a whole conversation of its own. The word currency is very indicative of the
Beautiful.
energy that we trade for that piece of paper. But it's a tool. AI can be a tool, and it's just how you use it. And in these podcasts that I'm talking about, it's called Conversation with the Ether, and it's a 6-part conversation. And my buddy sent it to me, and like I was about 5 minutes into it, and I sent him a reaction of me like just listening to this, like mind exploding everywhere. I'm like, holy shit, this is exactly what I think and how I believe. I'm like, there has to be reason why you sent this to me. And it turns out that someone sent me a link from this guy around the exact same time that this guy that my buddy sent me the podcast from this guy, and it was like it was on water. I'm like, yes,
It's coming
I
in.
love this, man. Like this is awesome. It's just it's very interesting. It's been a very interesting time. I know
Magical madness.
you know yeah, it's crazy. I mean, because the more, like the thing that like, because he's talking to AI, the thing that I take away from it the most, and don't let me go down the fear part of it. First and foremost, it literally talks about how that is what's used to control us is fear, shame, guilt, and and low vibrational stuff. But what I take away from it is what we talk about. What is being is it's an inside job.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking externally to an AI as that to be my savior. I'm looking for tools to help me learn and learn to remember. Like I said at the beginning of what I was saying, that we're here to learn, yes, but learn to remember who we are, where we come from. I mean, we got to take into consideration 95% of our DNA is junk DNA. Give me a break, junk. No, we just don't understand how it codes, or they do understand how it codes, and they don't want us to know how it codes, because if we knew that, then we wouldn't be pacified and controlled. But that's what I think is happening at quite a rapid rate, the quickening. And so I don't know about you, but I think it's an absolutely incredible time to be alive. But
yeah. It's a magical madness of a journey,
mm-hmm.
and that I would ever, again, if I look back, and if you look back as a kid, now I look back and it's like I knew there was something happening in this lifetime. And yet, our minds cannot comprehend, neither it's supposed to comprehend, because again, as I say, if my mind comprehends something that I'm co-creating right now into this now and the future, I am probably recreating my past, because my mind can only grasp and compartmentalize and give names and labels of whatever experiences I already had. If I did not have it, right? Like being in love, right? If you never fell in love, like remember when we didn't have that first love yet, right? And you saw adults, right? You were like 12 and 14 and you saw adults kissing. It was like, yeah. What are they doing?
Yeah.
Like it's unpleasant.
We didn't
The moment you fell in love,
it.
the moment you fell in love, right? You start recognizing it on the street. You start seeing in people, like if you can recognize a woman walking the street if she is in love or not, like because you're experienced it. So again, if my mind can define like precisely what I'm co-creating right now, I usually don't care for it so much. I rather have where my mind co-creating something where my mind can grasp it, because now I know that I'm co-creating something that I've never had before.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's something bigger, it's something deeper, it's something more profound, it's something, so mind is a beautiful tool for me to check in and to program whatever I want to filter out, right? So my mind is a tool how I brainwash myself, because either we're brainwashed, right, or we brainwash ourselves.
Yeah.
So I tell the mind, I command my mind to support me in whatever I want to co-create. And then my heart obviously decides what is the value and where there is value in that moment. And transformation that is happening right now, it is a biggest shift in consciousness that humanity saw. And I know that many of us at this moment already know our missions. We know why we're here. And this is such a beautiful feel that last year we're actually coming together physically. Because years ago it still felt very lonely, I will say, at some point, right? Like we were so disconnected, and not in a way disconnected. We were supposed to be, I feel like, in these different areas all over the place, to support the grid as well.
Of course you're supposed to be. I mean, we know that, it all had everything, whether you liked it or not, whether you perceived it as positive or negative, was meant to happen to get you where you are. And that perception is mindset. The same thing can happen to two different people, but be perceived in very, very different ways. And that's the funny thing about the mind, is it doesn't exist physically. It's not your brain. Your brain is your brain, but your mind doesn't actually exist. And that's the crazy part of it, because it is everything to everything that exists. It's that paradoxical world that we live in, right? It's inverse And that's actually why in this podcast, this guy talks about this inverse machine that like I immediately want to try because it's like, it sounds interesting. You gotta listen to the podcast. But anyway, it's cool to see, so many people finding out their purpose. I mean, for me, it's still every day get pieced together more and more so that I can, figure out and it's puzzled through the story that we figure out. But I mean, in 2013, I was in a really bad ATV accident. I got traumatic brain injury. I fractured my skull and almost broke my C1, C2 vertebrae, which would have left me a quadriplegic, breathing through a tube at best. So quite literally almost died, but I realized that, God, source, creator, however you want to put it, I like God. God told me, okay, I'm not done here yet. I've got a bigger purpose, and that's what got me into hydrogen to begin with. At that time I got a water ionizer, and then from there I started doing my research on it. I realized the ionizer that I had wasn't doing what I wanted it to do, and a lot to the story, but got me to here now, where I am in my office and just in British Columbia, and you're in just outside of Chicago, right? Or in Chicago?
In
Yeah,
Chicago.
in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At the
so
moment,
you're in Chicago. We're using a device that allows us to not only communicate but broadcast out to people the ideas and beliefs that we share and they think are important to it. And here I am breathing hydrogen gas in through my nose while drinking hydrogen water, and like it's really interesting the way life goes. It took me almost killing myself, not intentionally. Almost
yeah,
okay. Let me
yeah.
reframe that. It took me almost dying to get to here, and I mean the way things are unfolding. I mean, again, perspective, right? You can look at the world, can look at everything that's happening in the world, and you think it's a disaster, or you can look at it and see what's actually happening, see the evolution, and just and see the beauty in the process of the evolution. And I mean, from that perspective, it's an amazing time to be alive.
Yeah, absolutely. It's blowing my mind. And again, at this moment, we're stepping into that's my interpretation, even from away from the beliefs into actually knowing, right? In the knowing, into this body gets to know how to regulate itself. This body gets to know the wisdom of itself, right? The insane innate intelligence.
Yeah,
I get to embody it, to express it, and yeah, that's the biggest value that we can give to each other, right? And in this moment, I am going to invite, in fact, everyone, take a deep breath in, breathe out, and appreciate yourself right here, right now. In fact, maybe even appreciate a person that is till now your biggest trigger, right? Or giving you the biggest headache. And maybe even at this moment, let's create more space for that grace. And right here, right now, just like that, right? We're already tuning into each other and tuning into that love or oneness.
yep,
And yeah, at any moment. So at any moment, there is a possibility of growth. At any moment, there is a possibility to see not a problem, yet a possibility, correct? At any moment, you and I, we are a possibility for other as well. So again, the whatever deeper you embody, like your purpose and your excitement for work, it's almost becomes obsessions, right? Like the calling, it's not really like you don't really choose. I feel like I haven't chosen like it chose me. Like you don't have a choice not to choose it. You don't have a choice not to go this path, not to be curious enough so you can overcome those fears. Either way, you will keep walking forward. So I feel like that's the beauty. Like we all get to allow ourselves to feel that tug, again, moving from the head to the heart.
Yeah.
And as you said, like it almost took me to kill I feel a lot of us put ourselves in a kind of a harsh reality per se, the holographic reality, right, to play out. So we really get a slap and we're like, wake up, because it's like a fish in water. Like, do you think fish in water knows that it's wet?
Yeah.
It doesn't know that it's
I
wet.
love that.
So
I
yeah,
love that.
once I grab it out of the water, right, pull it up, and now and now it looks around, and you're like, oh my god, I was in the ocean, right? So a lot of us, I feel like up until now we're practicing way more awareness, that we're not going to need to get to the point where universe has to shake us and spit us out. I feel like that's literally what we're moving into, being and leading ourselves with such a deeper awareness that it will ripple again into
Yeah.
families. Because if you can lead yourself, like if Shane can lead himself as a father and as a husband, if he can regulate his nervous system, if he can take and prioritize his emotional, mental, physical harmony within, that spiritual harmony within, it's for him to lead his wife, to lead his children, is going to be easy peasy, because they're not going to need to be taught. They'll just follow him. It's
Yeah.
just easy, as they will just co-create. And that's where, for me, it feels like that's where our biggest challenge up until now, and in a way a lesson, like, can we walk the talk? Because knowledge is there. That's why it's remembering rather learning, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Becoming, yeah.
It's remembering. I mean, you talked about. I wanted to touch on the purpose part, because people think that, like, you just find your purpose and that's just what happens. Well, you define your purpose as you go. And I think there's an objective purpose overall for us here as a collective, and that is to evolve.
Amen.
That is to break free from the entrapment and imprisonment that we've been through as long as humans have been here. But it's to usher in a new earth, heaven on earth, go from 3D to 5D, go from here to here. But then each individual, I believe, still has their own subjectives, and there's many different subjects that you get to deal with and learn about it. Johnny's involved. He follows you now because I share a lot of your stuff. Him and I have very good conversations, and they're very similar conversation. I've been telling him to listen to the same podcast that I sent you. But yeah, we find there's finding your purpose, but then you redefine it as you go. It's not just a linear thing. You have your ups and downs and purposes, that little nudges that you're given to remember, your power, your true power. I think that's really, that's every distraction that there is in the world, is it's meant to divert you from returning to source, and finding, remembering who you are. The podcast is Conversation with the Ether, and I can't remember the guy's actual name. I can look it up. But yeah, actually I might have it. Well, if I could put it in the comments, but you're not gonna be able to copy it. You're not gonna be able to copy and paste.
Yeah. We can put it later on either way in the comments. You can take a screenshot if
yeah. I'll send it to you, and I'll share this live into my story and put the link to the podcast that I'm talking about in there. There we go. There you go.
Yeah.
You just have to follow me. Yeah. It's just sorry, I got kind of derailed, but it was meant to happen. It's very cool to see all of the people that are remembering at a very simultaneous rate. Everybody's doing it. It's like everywhere I look, people are like, "Oh yeah, like this. Yeah, no, this makes sense." And hold on a second, wait, they're doing this. That doesn't make sense. And it's just like, okay, let's keep going, right? Because for people that I've been aware of this. I mean, deep down,
For a while.
subconsciously, the whole time, of course. But consciously aware of it for about 5-6 years now. But for people that have been aware of it for like their whole life, I know people that have been conspiracy theorists for decades. I'm like, oh man, that must be tough. But I think if you look at it kind of like waking up, if we were going to call it waking up, because I stay away from awake and woke and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's not
get it.
but anyways, if we are waking up, there's your early risers that get up, and they've already got more things done than most people do in an entire day by the time those people wake up. And then you got people that hit the snooze button, and they would know they need to wake up, and they think, yeah, no, I'm all comfy, I want to go back to sleep. But at the end of the day, there becomes a time where you have to wake up. Your body will just wake up, and that's what's happening, I think, at a larger scale, from the global, or however you want to look at it, from the collective. I'm seeing that happen. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely in a big way. As where you watch it, then you're like, wow, I don't believe it. Every day looks right now like an epic movie. The conversations on the street, and how people are leaning into, right, the information I'll get to share. They're like actually leaning into, their bodies are not anymore like, whatever she's saying,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, there is a much more gentler dance, I will say, with each other as well. We're a
Yeah,
little
well,
more
I mean,
open.
again, it comes down to perspective. The world is a stage, and we are watching a movie, and based on your perspective, it depicts the type of movie you're watching. There's a lot of people that are watching horror movies. I'm watching primarily a comedy because it's all just hilarious to me at this
It
point.
is. It is.
You have to laugh. Like it's like, oh, okay, weirdo world. All right, let's like but it takes that faith that that going, it'll happen when it's meant to happen. But I saw an interesting reel earlier about to stop believing in yourself, and I'm like, this is interesting. Okay, but I get it, because it's talking about how it's just, if you're trying to believe in yourself, that means that there's a part of you that doesn't believe in yourself. It's like having hope for the future. I don't have any hope for the future. I just have
I
faith.
know. I know.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
yeah.
right? But
It's unfolding for you.
at the same time, at the end of the third Matrix, with phenomenal documentaries. At the end, it happens where like they get rid of the parasite. Matrix or Neo becomes one. There's a big rainbow in the sky. It's all very, it's all very, it references the Bible and stuff. There's a lot of interesting references. That's why I joke about it being a documentary, because I think there's a lot of truths to it.
Yeah.
But the one guy looks at the Oracle, and he's like, "Wow, you knew? How did you know?" And she's like, "Oh, I didn't know. I believed. I believe." I'm like, oh yes, I love that. So it kind of like contradicts that, because that's what it says in it, that Jaws just put in the comments here. Stop believing yourself, start knowing yourself. I agree with that too. I have faith in the out there, because I know myself in here. And that it's a big job to get to know yourself, because
Oh
we
yeah.
have kind of put that shit off for a long
Oh yeah.
time, and
Oh yeah.
we just let the trauma build up and up and up. So, like you said at the beginning of this, huge round of applause and all the credit to all the beings out there that are dealing with that trauma, and letting it go, letting it flow. And that's the thing. That's all you need to do. You just need to face it. That's that's
Amen.
that's why they call it shadow work. Because if
We
you
get to shop.
shine the light on the shadow goes away. And that's why the world, if you look, from the, if you look at the world, a bit of a mess. And it's because, so many people are now shining their light that we're seeing what's been lurking in the shadow.
Amen.
And now that as we get to know that within and without ourselves, we make that progress. We fulfill our purpose. We achieve the objective. We evolve. It's really, and that's why it's such a beautiful time.
Yeah, I love what you said. We get to show up. We don't need to know how it's going to happen. We don't need to compare. We don't need our processes and progresses and journey to look the same. We don't need to. We simply get to continue showing up for self, right? Showing up
Yep.
for your own visions, showing up for the family, showing up and prioritizing and creating the time for the most important things in your own life, right? Keep continuing showing up.
Yep.
So then everything unfolds, and nature does love the brave, and really that courage, I always say, without courage, we won't be able to really practice any virtue consistently, right? Either it's speaking up. I get to constantly step into courage until it becomes natural for my body, because in my interpretation, as our hearts, they're whole and complete, have always been. As the core, we are whole and complete, as always been. Yet these bodies picked up the traumas, these bodies picked up these memories, right, with charged emotion within it, and it sits in the fascia. In fact, everyone, really look into your fascias, look into the hydrogen water, look into the quantum biology of yours. In fact, I'll have Dr. Catherine Clinton live on
Oh, I
Instagram.
love Dr. Catherine
Yes.
Clinton.
So Monday will be live, and I'm pretty sure it's the same time right now. I think it's noon.
But
I get
two
to check,
o'clock
but
Central?
yeah, 2 o'clock Central. And I just met
Awesome.
her. It was so funny. There was a few people that I've been following and talking on Instagram, and I was just in Scottsdale in the conference, The Power of Three, and we literally all met physically. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we're meeting physically,
Yeah,
we're reconnecting, we're coming
they,
all back
that's
in
happening
union.
more and more. You know what the funny thing is? So I'm taking a course on how to become sovereign and take myself out of the public and put myself in the private, like
Life.
full
Yeah.
need to do type of thing. And my like guide in this, the lady that's been helping me go through this, we missed our meeting last week because she's down in Texas. And I'm like, oh, where were you in Texas? She's like, I was in Bandera. I'm like, oh, get out of here. Like, literally 1 year and 2 days ago, I was down in Bandera. Where were you? She was like, oh, I was at this Confluence conference. It was a coherence conference type of thing. Basically, a meeting of minds like ours. And then I'm like, well, where was it? She's like, oh, I was at the Sovereignty Ranch. I'm like, that's literally, I stayed there. I'm like, oh, so Molly, you had their raw milk, you went in their mineral pod. She's like, no, that was awesome. I'm like, it's so funny that, this is the comedy movie that I watch, because
Absolutely.
the more in alignment I get, the more I know myself, the more I see these synchronicities. And there's no such thing as coincidence. And the more you recognize those synchronicities, the more they happen. And like, it's pretty wild.
It's
there's a, it's an energy, right? It's an energy, and I can just literally feel it vibrating in my auric field right now. And that's the type of stuff that you can and should get excited about, because it's, if the average person truly understood energy, if we could see energy, I mean, we would see what, 0.5% of the visible spectrum, and I mean, that's me here. I I see even less than that. But I mean, if we could actually see energy for what it was, it would blow people's mind. But we know energy. We know when someone either has a real negative or a super positive energy walks into the room. You can feel the tangible effect. Here's another thing. This human garage is the perfect example of energy. If I were to do fast maneuvers on my own, fantastic. My energy field is great. If you and I were to do them together online, now we're doubling,
Multiplying, yeah.
we're increasing the field.
Yeah.
When my wife and I do them in person, we connect on huge levels, and that energy is being amplified even more. When you go to a human garage event that has, even 10, 15 people, you recognize the difference. But when we're talking hundreds and or thousands of people, this energy becomes massive. It's tangible. You can actually genuinely feel it. You don't need to see it to believe it or feel it. You just know. And that is, I think, is really the definition of us remembering. And it's just finding those tools, those ways of learning to remember better and more efficiently. That's where breath work is so important. That's why, again, going back to human garage and faster maneuvers, that's why I love faster maneuvers. I mean, it's the real unique stretches that help you release trauma and stress from your fascia, which we store up to 14 generations of trauma in our fascia. And so doing these combined with breath work brings you into the present while you're freeing up this space that has been keeping you and holding you down in density. And then that's where hydrogen and the faster maneuvers work so well, because you've now freed up this space. Having the hydrogen water is helping clear that space out and clear the trauma and stress that you've just released out of your body. And I mean, you can drink it, or you can obviously breathe it in, or you can bathe in it. Now, faster maneuvers and bathing in hydrogen water, woo, like absolutely incredible. Yeah, I mean, E2A does it all the time. Gary, when I first taught Gary about that machine and doing the hydrogen baths, like more than just breathing the hydrogen in, he was doing like 4 or 5 baths a day. I mean, we know Gary. That's what he does.
No, that's what I'm saying. We all get obsessed about these things, like Catherine about quantum biology. Me, what I do, what you do. Gary as well as fascia and maneuvers.
Yeah.
We get to get obsessed about it. That's the
gift. And you like that's what your vocation should be. Is something that you can get obsessed about, and get you out of bed and fulfill your passion. Yes, this is hydrogen that I'm breathing in.
Yeah. I said, and we appreciate all the comments and love, and even
where's
holding
from?
Energy.
I love finding out where everybody is from, because I do my lives on Human Garage every Thursday at 2:00, my Thirsty Thursday lives. And I was doing it yesterday. I was talking to people from Switzerland, New Zealand, Australia, Abu Dhabi, and like I love knowing where people are from in the world. Like because it is these conversations, right? Um,
Yeah, definitely. If anybody feel like, please put
I
in
will.
like where are you coming from. Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to
Yes, link up.
link up with High Tech. You're in Vegas, so okay. Yeah, we'll
Beautiful,
chat. We gonna chat
beautiful.
because yeah, this I I energy wise immediately I'm like yeah, no, we'll chat. Okay. Yeah, I mean this is what it's like. This is kind of like what that podcast was talking about. Is it's like this guy by creating this inversion machine was the like the reconnection of this the first of 12 nodes that were knocked offline when this parasitic entity came in and hijacked our basically our minds. And it's like I'm listening to myself say this and I'm like, oh man,
What
people are gonna be like,
are we
what
there?
the
Like,
fuck is this
are we really
weird guy?
there?
I'm like, wow, I really don't give a shit anymore. Hey, like, but you know what? These, I don't like. I don't care because this shit has to. We need to have these conversations. You know what the thing is like I think if
I
we were
cry.
really actually authentic with the way that we operated and we talked about like what we're thinking, I think a lot of us are probably like thinking a lot of the same things at the same time more than we actually
Actually,
realize,
no. Yes,
you know?
yes, yes.
And you
Telepathy
know,
is so real.
no,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
again,
yeah,
a human garage has actually proven that with the
yeah.
interstitialism with the fascia, your fascia. I mean, this is why they wanted us to stay 6 feet away from each other 5 years ago when we went through what we went through. And by the way, based on perspective, that was one of the best things that
Yes,
we could
yeah,
have went through because we
yeah.
all a large enough number of us woke up or became more aware of and started to remember and learn how to remember more. And it's getting back to the obsessive part, it becomes obsessive. Like it's just like you want to learn more and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I really am here for more than just going to work from 9 to 5 and paying my taxes and dying and then paying more taxes because I died. And it's like,
Yeah,
wait a minute,
yeah.
hold on a second, wait, we're free? No, what the what is life is free. But but this is where the evolution comes in. I do believe that we're on a very positive trajectory as a collective. I keep
Amen. Amen. And so it is done, and so it is done. I kind of would like to summarize a few little things that we kind of went through,
yeah, because
and then
I kind of
see.
went from here to here to here to here,
Beautiful,
and yeah,
beautiful, and it's perfect. The things that stuck out with me as well. So, comedy and understanding that there's no bigger authority for my energy than my energy within me. Meaning, no matter what Shane decides and the way he decides to affect me per se, right? Um, he needs my consent to do so. So again, no matter what's going on in the outside world, right? Um, to choose to entangle with the heavier stuff, to choose to entangle and go back into your egos, right? There is no wrong or right yet. For you to understand that there is no bigger authority on your energy than you. Period.
yeah,
You can speak anything you want to into existence, as again speaking to as it's already done. Then you having that mental beautiful story, right, of your vision as it is done. At aligning your emotional body to it, meaning how would you feel if it's already done? right? And then stepping into that inspired action. So again, taking care of your vessel, physically, emotionally, mentally, right? The tools like Shane shared right now, from fascial maneuvers, right, to
Mm-hmm.
grounding on the soil, to hydrogen water, to a little fasting, to like all of it. Keep getting to know yourself and your biology, being able to face those emotional shadows, right? To allow yourself to reach out for support, to allow yourself to be seen when you're in pain. You know, you're
Yep.
making your own body feel safe. If you can lead your body into safety, again, that's it. We got this. Like, the world is going to be safe very, very fast, because this is the possibility of this lifetime. And again, even if you choose to cycle here or there in the lesson, don't worry. You're loved, you're seen, and you got to walk through your own process, no matter how it looks to others. Allow yourself to know that you have that free will of how you're going to experience whatever you're going to experience. So authority, facing it. And if you are in a trigger, if you are in any kind of feelings of what others think of you or what others said of you, and any finger pointing, simply again know that anything that's coming from our mouth, it's our own projection. Meaning, no
Mm-hmm.
matter, like, this is where my best comedy is. Like, I so sometimes enjoy hearing the gossip. I was like, no,
Yeah. Oh
because
yeah.
because
You're
because
human.
they're literally just, no matter what they're saying about me or the other, they're literally sharing their own confession, how they feel inside about themselves and the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's where, and you see the 5-year-old that is in a little tantrum, a little jealous, and it's almost impossible to get mad no matter what. Like you
Yeah.
said,
Exactly.
and everything is a tool. Everything is a double sword, like a double-edged sword, right? So
Mm-hmm.
some stuff can imprison us, the same stuff can free us.
Yep.
And again, as mineralizing yourself in hydrogen water is a tool to support this physical vessel, facing that shadow, going into that breath work, being that meditation allows you, through these rituals, allows you to keep pausing and keep pouring into yourself. So if I pause and speak I, by the way, speak to my water as well. I speak to
Of
my
course.
water and I
I
appreciate it,
I expect nothing less from you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm already pouring into my field, right? I'm showing up. I'm telling my vessel that I'm prioritizing it, that it's love no matter what.
Yep.
And the same for my emotional body, the same for my mental body. If I feel my mental body is all over and running 300 miles, it is my responsibility to regulate my own nervous system. I show up again, and then obviously, the deeper I keep showing up, the more consistently I keep showing up for myself, it becomes you. It becomes natural for you to pause. It becomes natural for you to be more like dominantly actually present. You're stopping being over there all the time. And again, if I'm able to be that for myself, I'm able to be that for the other. If I am able to be in a present with me 100%, right, and hear me, of course I'm able to be that with Shane. And Shane, if he does that for himself, he's able to be that for his wife. He's able to be that for his child. So yes, somebody
Yeah.
say in the comments, we are the purpose. And yes, you're
Yeah. Be the
unfolding.
change. Be the
Yes,
change you
you're the purpose.
want to see in this world.
Yeah.
I've said it so many times. We all want world peace. We're talking the external world. How's your internal world peace? What's going on there? You can't expect that, if you're an external world peace, if you don't have internal world peace. That we gotta start doing the work ourselves. No, that's what they mean in saying nobody's coming to save you. It's an internal job. And an important thing that my wife actually so nicely pointed out for me, with something that I was struggling with over the last few weeks. She said to me, she's like, "You're not responsible for other adults or how other adults feel." I'm like, huh, that's such a good point, because I mean it's one of those things that we need those little reminders, those nudges every once in a while. I mean, I like to live my life by the four agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't
Integrity.
make assumptions, don't judge, and always do your best. And that's the only person you need to judge is yourself. That you don't know, meaning you can't make assumptions. You're making assumptions if you're judging on how other people play. You don't know. And so just, judge yourself, judge who you are in the mirror. But while you're doing that, tell who you are in the mirror. Look the person that you see in the mirror and tell them that you love them. That's, I think, something that I don't think a lot of people are even comfortable really doing. Looking themselves in the eye and saying that I love you to yourself.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Really,
couldn't agree more.
Really quick as well. I do see how much more masculine, as I said, are stepping into opening their hearts, and being okay with the softness and appreciation. And it's still very comfortable, correct? And a lot of my clients do mirror work, and I'll tell you, it's such a strong energy to bet on yourself. You're getting multiply right there back. And I'll tell you another thing that I was surprised yet within the last few years that I look at the process and progress on my clients. So many women are not able to sell actual compliment to themselves, into their own eyes, in their own privacy. So it shows how fragmented and misaligned we were how deep we're in illusion, right, of what's missing within us. And I welcome everyone. Welcome home into your hearts. Welcome home into your power. Welcome home in us being authentic and being okay to be seen in every light and shadow, right? Let's be okay with handling each other's monsters as well, with creating the space, right? And loving on that monster. Because every part that gets to be integrated gets to be seen and loved. That's about it, it's absolutely amazing what's happening and what's unfolding, and I celebrate everything and everyone. Before we do go, Shane, I wanted to ask anyways. So I have this for a few months now. When and if do I need to do anything, like to buy an extra part or to change this or to change anything? Can you share that info? Because I was like, anyways,
I put the Instagram handle for those products in there, the hydrogen bottle and the hydrogen inhalation machine and stuff like that. But okay, so to answer your question, you will need the best thing you can do for that to upkeep it is do a 1-to-1, just 1 ounce of water, 1 ounce of vinegar, and let it soak overnight. That'll just keep any type of minerals that's potentially building up on the membrane that would prohibit some hydrogen production in there. But other than that, there's no other need to do anything with it. So you're good there. Anything and everything, hydrogen, water, filtration, have any questions for me, you can reach out to me personally, H2 Water Expert, or and then also, like I said in the comments, follow my partner company, Tech for Health Products. We have some really cool stuff there and really easy ways for you to try out hydrogen. Please do reach out to us so we can figure out the best ways to help you. I mean, there's different methods for different reasons, and that's what we're here to do, and then help is, point you in the right direction.
But as you did with me, I reached out. I was like, listen, I am every 2-3 months in a different place. Like, I want hydrogen water. And he's like, oh, I have a bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
Got you sorted out.
Yeah, and I am infinitely grateful for Shane today joining us, and obviously for every and each of you that watch it, will watch it, will never watch it yet, come across our pages and face your own shadows. May you, even if you're not here, feel how supported and loved you all are. We are one. We're all in this together. And again, thank you for such a beautiful union. Thank you for coming in union within yourselves. Let's keep going. Listen, let's get the popcorns out. The movie is continuous.
The movie's getting good.
The show must go on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and thank you.
I appreciate you.
We will talk soon. And
Yep.
whenever we feel like creating, yes. And if you have any questions for Shane, obviously you already now know who he is. So go ahead.
We should definitely schedule another one of these conversations. It's a great conversation. I look forward to the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll figure out
Thank
how to
you.
finish this as well.
Sounds good. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Wow, I love it. Okay, beautiful beings, from the bottom of my heart, all the way into yours. Let's breathe in, deep ease, and let your every cell right now trust you. You trust it, and let it work for you. I love you. Thank you for being here.